Yeah.
He keeps it
One of
right,
those.
he keeps it right there.
So-
And Joe's picture is right there too.
I told him that's where we catch all the catfish up in the back, and that's where we put them.
So
Oh heavens, that's,
I think all I've got left is,
you can catch them off anybody's dock.
I got an extra agenda.
Hey, Race.
Hey, Ray.
Oh, I gave away
Advisory
mine.
board now too?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
I'm just returning. I've been on hiatus for
I
what?
know that you were.
4
on
years
it
now, Dan?
before.
5 years?
Yeah, out of the penalty box.
Yeah.
All right.
Turn my speaker on, yes, sir.
I guess.
Okay, well, we'll
Are we
come
live
to-
now?
Come to order and all that. Yeah, might as well sit up at the big kids' table. So on the agenda, kinda anything folks see that needs adding or detracting? Probably not. So I distributed the minutes from last meeting. Did they- Without Leon, we don't have our spell checker.
Motion to approve. I wasn't
You
here,
weren't
but.
present, so you can, I mean, you can move, you know.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
To
I didn't
approve-
hear any,
To approve
objections.
these minutes you're talking
Yeah.
now,
Yeah, those were the January, was our last meeting.
the last meeting, January.
Well, I'll make the motion.
Well, Ray moved, you're seconding, I don't recall.
Who is
Third.
the person that's not here?
Leon,
Oh, Leon.
Leon's
Okay.
normally, he told me he's traveling, maybe this meeting and next, so,
You can't make the motion if you weren't here.
yeah, well.
Oh,
You can second it, yeah.
Okay.
We're so formal.
I don't think you can make I don't think you can second if you weren't here either.
Ah, well, I'll second whatever. So, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? So just so you're aware, we have
Aye.
a time for public comments. If you have any comments on things we're doing, we have a time at the end for public comments. If you wanna interview us, that's a different, that's after, so. Does the public have any comments or just spectate? You gotta be careful that people who sit there often end up here before too many iterations.
Yeah, I
Recently,
was there once, I know.
not long ago, so, yeah. So, so there's none. Our action item list, we're kinda coming on to the spring, kind of season. Technically, is it today or tomorrow? Astronomical spring? Today's the 20th.
Today, isn't it?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, but we're getting there. So going through the list, the Phragmites, actually I took a walk back on the, kind of the trail area, and there's still some Phragmites back there, and I took photos so I can convey the latitude and longitude. So hopefully we'll get something done on that, but they don't spray that till fall, so,
Is that the tall grass like?
the real tall, yeah.
I have some that popped up in mind. What do you recommend to kill it? Cause I'll just go out there and.
Yeah, any Roundup type of stuff. Now in your yard, it could have been planted pampas grass, which is a little different.
Pampas doesn't do with Michigan, which I've seen it
Oh.
misnomer, like people will buy
Yeah.
what they think is
It's pampas,
pampas, but
yeah.
it doesn't go beyond like zone 8.
Oh, so,
But
I'd-
mine wasn't planted there before,
Yeah,
it
so
showed
I'd-
up this past year.
yeah, I'd wipe it out.
Yeah.
And again, so the technique, you can't like treat it if it's in the water technically. Just telling you the technicalities.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, cause I know there's
Cause you
rules
can't
with the
spray
DEQ and
herbicide in
whatnot, yeah.
water, but if it's dry enough, which it
So wait till that
wait
little
till it
riverbed
dries off, yeah,
Cool.
just, and then some Roundup. It's pretty resistant, like, so they often treat it in the fall when it gets sprayed, but.
Okay.
But if you kinda cut it so it won't send up seed, and then in the fall, or sometimes just hit the leaves a few times, you'll knock it back.
Okay.
So we did have a patch on the far side of the lake, and Steve Hansen, our applicator, treated it like 1 or 2 years, and it's gone, it hasn't really come back, but yeah, we wanna keep it at bay.
Is Phragmites one of the things that you can inject the
All
weed
the-
killer into?
That I don't know, I mean,
Because if, it's out near the water, and if you just,
Yeah.
inject it into that particular plant,
plant.
then
You probably
it goes into
could.
the root system.
yeah, you probably could, but the other, I've seen
I'll
people,
try it and get back with you.
yeah, the way that's easier than
Alright.
injecting, cause, one at a time and a needle with poison's kind of not a great idea. But, friend of mine, what she does with poison ivy is is kind of pour it in, you know, some container, put on rubber gloves and dip, and you just wipe it on so it's not being dispersed, so you can control where it goes, so.
Okay.
So, a couple ways of doing that. So then, next coliform, we're relying on the Mid-Michigan Health Department, hadn't heard anything different. The lake monitoring, when are they gonna do the phosphorus?
I just got the test kit for phosphorus like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right.
And the rules with the test kit clearly state that you must take this test within 2 weeks of ice out.
Which
So
was,
I'd already missed the window for that
I don't
when I
think-
got it.
yeah, I think just, you're
So
gonna take it as soon
I'm
as you
gonna, my
Just
plan
do
is to, when the weather clears up enough for me to put my boat in,
Yeah.
I'll go test.
Yeah, yeah. If you think that's gonna take you a while, let me know and I'll kayak out and take a water sample.
Well, I was gonna do it last weekend, and I saw the weather forecast for
Yeah.
this week, and I said, well, just do it next weekend then.
Yeah, okay,
Or
catch up,
whatever,
you know, the next week or
I'll,
so.
I'll get it, but, thanks for asking anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, if you need help, let me know, and, again, for our kind of audience, so our board kind of isn't technically in charge, but the Friends of Park Lake, which is a nonprofit, has sponsored membership in the, Cooperative Lakes, MICOR, Michigan Cooperative Lakes, CRP, I don't remember what the acronym is, I should know, but it basically, it's a citizen monitoring system. So, Dawn really takes the lead on much of that, so we measure phosphorus, cause that's generally the limiting nutrient for plants in fresh water. Measures the clarity of the water with a device called a Secchi disc, so it's, you drop a disc down and see how far it goes before it disappears. And that's a cheap but consistent way of measuring, to see if, particularly if algae's, a problem in the lake. And then, sample and filter water to collect chlorophyll, which is algae, so a lot focuses on algae. Then the other part that I usually take care of is, sampling the plants in the lake for non-native weed species, as well as native weed, native plants that can become overly abundant. So that's our lake monitoring program.
Did you get a report, an email from them on the last report that was issued?
I don't recall,
I'll send it to you.
could've.
I got one. They also did send us the 2023 report. I have
Oh.
a copy of that, but I didn't bring it with me.
Okay, yeah, I didn't, they might have sent it, I download the data and put it in
Yeah,
our
okay,
report.
yeah.
So, purple loosestrife, I think we've had kind of mixed feelings on the committee about whether the beetles that we got one year didn't seem to have much effect, it's been tried a couple times, and kind of, I think it's kind of a waste of time.
Do they overwinter in Michigan, or do you have to reintroduce them every single year?
So in theory, they should overwinter some years, and the
Like
problem.
during winters we just had, but then we
They should have been good these past few winters, and the winter we did them, they should have been
You
okay.
know, I can only speculate on what happened, but during the time period when we placed the beetles, the water level is generally starting to drop down a little bit. And if they're gonna overwinter, they're gonna overwinter in that soil. And then the water level comes back up, I think might be
Yeah.
what the problem is.
Yeah, they're not native either, so it's kinda like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, but being newish on the board, both you and Sherry, so it is an invasive plant, so I'm giving my perspective, that it's visible, but it's not really hurting the other plants, there's plenty of other plants, so it's not like it's taken over. When it first, invaded areas in the US, like often happens, it just went gangbusters. I mean, thousands of acres, that's all you saw. And now it's just kinda integrated, like dandelions, people don't like the sight of them, but they aren't really killing your lawn.
Killing the environment.
So I think, it's kind of, let it be, it's kind of integrated, so.
they like dandelions, the bees like them.
Yeah, the bees like it. I was involved in a study quite a few years ago, whether it affected the marsh bird community. And really, there's one species called a marsh wren that only lives in dense cattails, which we have plenty of. And
Yeah, I don't
that-
think cattails can be choked out. So.
No, so the marsh wren lives in the dense cattails, but every other bird's fine, like, redwings will nest in the and the stalks of the, purple loosestrife. They're, again, for,
And we also have marsh wrens on the lake.
we do have marsh wrens.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there used to be long-billed and short-billed marsh wrens in, Roger Troy Peterson's guide.
So,
So what happened to that?
so I think
It's put together.
I thought
long
so.
ago, again, I don't recall, they might have shifted the name, there's the marsh wren, and then there's what's now called the sedge wren,
Oh, okay.
and that might be what was historically.
I thought it, maybe
short-billed.
it went the way of the American kestrel, you know? Used to be a
Not that
sparrowhawk.
I'm- Not that I'm aware
They
of.
changed so many names, I just,
Whether,
Since I
if you're,
started.
if you're, you know, tapped in the American Ornithological Union's
Yeah.
looking to change lots of names. They're actually pushing for, like Swainson's thrush, anything with a person's name they wanna do away with entirely.
yeah.
You know, and that's again, it's gonna take us time to figure.
Capital Area Audubon, speaking of names, they just took a vote to see if they wanted to change their name, to get rid of Audubon's name.
That's been a discussion at the national level too, so, again, I'll
I took JB and Grace out to show them marsh wrens. They hadn't seen one yet,
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
years ago. And the spot I picked, they came within like 10 feet of us.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they're,
They really, they don't care, and he was checking out all of his nests.
yeah, yeah,
They build a bunch of faux nests,
yeah,
and then they use one.
yeah.
They do fake ones, yeah. Kinda like regular wrens.
Yeah, they're like, they're like regular wrens, yeah. They're really, they're, regular wrens are pretty brown, stripy, nondescript. They have more like elegant markings on them and
You
real,
have to become a bird watcher
Oh,
and
yeah,
see, watch
yeah.
the behavior.
yeah, whether you, like, where you are, it's busy enough, they may or may not be there, but on the other side of the lake where there's dense cattails, they're out there, so. So,
Almost exactly as far away as you can go from your house is what.
That's where they're at.
but it's so far away. So anyways, I think purple loosestrife, I suggest we kinda just put that to the future item list is, again, not something to worry about so much every year. Goose control, as far as I know, we're gonna have the township will continue management. I haven't,
It's been funded.
where you're at sometimes, have you seen, or are they starting to nest? I've seen a lot of geese.
Yeah, they are starting to
migratory.
nest. There's been a couple that have been coming up in my yard
Yeah,
about every day, but I see a couple on the other side of the lake that look like they're at least picking out a spot.
okay, so typically, last year I
Canadian
did.
mostly, or all kinds of, my Canadians came a couple days ago.
Pardon?
You did what?
My Canadian geese came a couple days ago.
Yours?
Yeah, my private ones,
Private stock.
my private stock,
Do you have collars on?
two of them. Yeah, I named them. Hey, George.
A little toque on their head. Say, hello.
There's always two there. They don't seem to, I don't know where they lay their eggs, but
So, for several years, I did like a paddle around the lake and counted nests, and I'm gonna try to do that, but the timing, if it's too early, you miss, and too late, and they've hatched their young, so. So this year's weird. So, but again, again, for those of you who may not know, so a couple of years ago, we had the issue with too many geese on the beach and closed the beach, and the township, engaged with goose busters to oil the eggs. So when they oil them and put them back, it kills the egg, but then the parents still sit on it, so they don't re-lay
Which
eggs.
they don't crush the eggs, right? Cause I had someone who was saying, make sure, I was at a social engagement, like, make sure they don't crush the eggs this year, and I'm like, they don't, because that'll make the
No.
geese relay them, and they're like, I watched them go out there and crush the eggs, and I was like, I don't know.
I mean, by accident, maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know, they oil them, or that's
Yeah,
what they're
I-
supposed to do, I
To make
don't,
it look like they're supposed to be hatching. so.
yeah, I haven't gone in,
put fake eggs out would work too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they've done that before too.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just quicker and cheaper.
But yeah, you talk to somebody around the lake about what's going on the lake, you're liable to hear any
All
number of
kinds
stories.
stuff,
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes true.
Like those little tiny beavers. That's what you'll hear about.
Mini beavers.
Yeah.
Muskrats.
So.
You weren't
our-
here maybe when we were talking about that.
So the nature trail, my best understanding is that there is a meeting scheduled for Monday, May 6th at 5
Yes.
PM. And that'll be to discuss stuff. We
Public
may-
welcome to come to that. I really want to, the more we can spread the word to get,
If I may elucidate on that. Ryan got all over me for this. I spread the word to get there because it was gonna be a meeting, informational meeting.
Right.
And he said, this is not an informational meeting, this is a special meeting for the board to discuss the trail, not the public. So as it stands right now, all we're gonna be able to do as Joe Citizen or Josephine Citizen, we're gonna have 3 minutes in the beginning, 3 minutes at the end, and that's it.
This board member's gonna bitch about that because I want public input.
I wanted
and I'm
him to
sorry,
open the
that's-
meeting as a whole, and he said,
As a
what the
whole.
board is.
That's what we're supposed to be there. I'm sorry, but I get so mad at this. Microphone, I hope you hear me. That we are elected to hear you. And it makes me mad when we are shut up and that damn timer goes off in 3 minutes. I didn't know there was a 3-minute speech limit to free speech.
Yeah.
And
it used to be 2 minutes for this board, not this
Well-
board, but I mean this.
Yeah.
I will be up there very violently opposed to it, so know that.
Well, I think one thing I've got is, I don't know if you know, it's on our agenda, is communication with township leadership. So I want to discuss that as a topic, because I have,
That's a discussion topic,
that's a
yes.
discussion topic.
Okay.
But, so anyways, so it is, it's not, there's a meeting scheduled, that is accurate, just what type of meeting is
Mm-hmm.
still.
And that is a board meeting night, is it
Yeah,
not?
and
It is, it
early,
starts at
so-
5.
So it's a whole hour, whoopee. I
Well,
mean,
it'll run over, I'll guarantee it'll run over, but
Yeah.
it'll be,
Let's talk
Okay.
about that a little later. 'cause
do you
again,
wanna
our
talk,
bo-
I was gonna say, do you wanna talk about that a little more and cover
Later.
this
Talk when we
stuff?
talk about communication.
He's
with
got it
township
here.
leadership.
Go ahead. Yep.
Under new
Yep,
business.
Sorry.
So it's a generality
Sure.
rather than that. Budget recommendation, that's, we've already done that, so that's all set. One thing, I'm sure if you can help, I don't know if the board has been discussing the boat ramp parking area renovations, is that a
They have.
topic they've been on their agendas or not?
In general, the lining up the things in order, somewhere in my other piles of notes.
The CIPs,
Yeah, specifically though, I don't
Ben
think.
put one in on that, he did. Playground,
Yeah,
boat
yeah,
launch.
order and which and how much money, nothing's been, a lot goes on behind closed doors that I don't know about.
Yeah, so that one, so our action item is waiting on the start of the discussions by the Board of Trustees.
Should I bring that up to the board?
Well, again, when we get to the communications, where I'm gonna
Okay,
lead
gotcha,
to
gotcha.
is, as I think our board, we've written memos to the Board of Trustees and the township supervisor or superintendent. Superintendent. We've written memos saying, we need to be in the loop.
Senior
And we have,
citizens.
and specific questions, so I will.
Senior citizens were in the same exact word for word.
Yeah. So anyways, we'll bring that up, but to our knowledge, there's not any, immediate action on that. Because again, I think our board should have some input on that, since we're the advisory board on said things.
Yes, sir.
So I think that's the quick review of our action item list. I don't see Judy, so I don't know if you said you
I'm the
were-
president now,
Oh, you're president
Yeah.
now. Oh,
and Race is also on. He's kind of an ex officio, though. Is that correct?
So can you give us a report
Yeah, in
of
fact,
what's going on?
Ironically, we just had a meeting last night,
Yeah.
and I think there were about 10 or 12, weren't there 10 people there? Something like that. Nothing outrageous, but we spoke about the trail. I tried to keep it short. Brought up the May 6th meeting and that we all need to attend. We had, I think, 3 new people there that I've never met before, that are relatively new residents around the lake, that were very interested in the trail and where it's at and how they can get to it. And can you ride a bike on it right now? And I said, we answered all their questions. But we also talked about traffic calming for Park Lake Road. The Park Lake Corridor is what it's going to be officially recognized as. And I asked if there's like a formal plan for that, like a master plan, if you will. And there isn't as of right now. Friends of Park Lake and the rec committee have spoken about that. Not necessarily together, but that there needs to be some things done. The only positive thing I know about right now is that the Clinton County Road Commission has committed to putting in 2 crosswalks. One between Wiswasser and the boat launch, and one between the beach and that open parking area, just across from the Park Lake Creamery. I was approached by two individuals that literally live on Webster Road South, and they asked if we could also get a crosswalk between the church and Hawks Ridge, because her children have to go across that road twice a day, and she said the traffic is unbelievable. And they just moved here about 2 months ago, I think.
They
So,
talked about speed bumps or anything that would.
yes, ad nauseum, we've talked about this stuff. Speed bumps are out, absolutely out. The road commission said, the only thing we're going to endorse, and I'm quoting them, the only thing we will endorse is enforcement. And so, you know, these,
Wasn't there a
these,
conversation about installing the ducks?
there was, they've kind of let that go mute now. I haven't spoken with Doug Steffen, who is the acting director of CCRC, but, I wanna get some answers on that too. I don't know if you know what ducks are, but they're those round rubber fluorescent poles that go on, that, you know, and you can hit them and they'll go over, but they come right back up. Kinda like a Weeble.
And signs were talked about,
And signs,
more
signage.
signs. But,
If you, I'm sure all of you have went by them and not noticed maybe, but they did put yellow arrows on the first, by Carolyn Paget's house, you know, where people are coming around the, west. They have those 12 by 12 yellow arrow signs, 3 of them,
Yeah.
so you know there's a curve there.
don't.
But anyway,
Judy's
that's
house.
pretty much it, what we talked about. A lot of other things, just
Yeah.
minutia.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good, well, thanks. So, more just for my own curiosity, so you've been installed as president, is Judy still kind of?
I've been installed, yeah, that's true. Judy didn't want to do it anymore, so it's either her or me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no.
that's pretty much
So, I
it.
mean, I know she's, spent a lot of
Very
time
much
and
so.
effort.
10 years. And we just, both of us are getting, we're the only two anymore, so we're just kind of getting burnt out. But,
Yeah. Well, hopefully
if
as
we
new
go,
people come
then there's
in-
nobody, so.
Yep.
We did get 2 new people that are new to, they bought a condo up on the hill, on the hilltop.
Okay.
And they joined and have committed to becoming our treasurer.
Oh, okay, good, good. Yeah, no.
Because the president cannot also be the treasurer. I'll just
Otherwise,
say that.
otherwise he'll end up in Costa Rica quicker, right?
Exactly. I found that out by reading the bylaws on the IRS website.
Oh, wow, it's that detailed, so, okay, so, now we usually do township report, anything, Sherry, relevant to kind of the
Just
lake?
at the meeting that we're having that, on the 6th.
Okay.
Hopefully we have lots of people there, and if everybody gets their 3 minutes, it'll.
Yep, okay, so, have you started water level logging?
No, I should, but
It's okay,
with the wind, it makes it a little difficult to measure.
yeah. And again, for the sake of folks who may not know, so John's been doing measurements through kind of various ways of how high the lake is. And I don't know how many years ago it was now, there was a period before we had a kind of a new kind of dam structure installed. The lake was about 1.5 feet lower than it is now. And with that installed, it's come up, kind of you see it's lapping in your basement. It used to occasionally before, so, when they built that house, that was kind of a, not to touch a sore subject, but, and then it seasonally goes down. The lake is largely groundwater fed, and it has a very small watershed, so there's not a lot of rain runoff, so it doesn't fluctuate rapidly, but seasonally it gets up and down. I went out to the outlet structure last week, and, it's right at the.
Just a trickle.
Yeah, it's right at the sill plate, but it's not, unusually high right now for this time of year. Okay, so,
It's not the chair, it's usually over there.
okay, so, for old business, last meeting, kind of, I gave you all assigned readings on the annual report. I know, John and Leon had some very minor comments, just a couple words here and there. So I hadn't heard back from other folks, so I'm assuming is that thumbs up?
I'm gonna give a thumbs up. I was turned into a nurse
Oh.
recently, and taking care of Nola with her back surgery. and
Oh, okay,
I was
yeah.
kind of, I've been tied up.
No, it's okay. So, I don't remember what section did you,
I think it was leg testing.
the lake testing, so
I-
I think, that's-
Ironically, I did read it through.
Oh.
And, it looks very good.
okay. So then, and now, looking at Race and Sherry, you know, I didn't give you quite the same assignment, but more as someone new.
We're the
you know,
only
was
group.
the stuff that, you know, if you had a chance to look at it, that kinda,
Well, I used to read it like.
You
other
read it
years,
anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
so
and I mean, I
it's the
didn't know if
same.
I was supposed to be looking into it to be like, oh, this isn't the right data.
no.
Otherwise, grammatically, it looks good.
yeah, and it's mostly if it's understandable by someone
Yeah.
without a deep science, you know, kind of, training and anything you know, and as always, if there's something like you're curious about that could go into it, you know, we can explore it for next year. I mean, and the other part that's more the, kind of the guiding part are the goals and objectives for the management of the lake, and we haven't really like deep discussed them, but I think they're kind of general enough that it guides us pretty well.
Yeah.
But those are always open for discussions, you know,
There's a lot of useful information in there.
And this isn't where?
The annual report that Park Lake Advisory Board puts out. We're the only group that actually puts out an annual report other than,
Where do I find that?
Oh, I
it's-
sent you one,
You sent me one, okay.
yeah,
and there's,
Right.
it's also on the,
Emailed it.
I emailed
On
it.
the
Okay,
website,
all right,
so-
my fault.
that's right.
The first 5 or 6 pages of that were blank when I looked at it. On
Your
mi-
cache might
on
be
mine. I
full.
don't know if it was a long thing or if it was a,
No, I think, cause I don't think John had issues with,
I didn't have any
No,
issues,
it's open.
came up
It's fine
just
for
like that.
me.
yeah, might be.
How long ago did you send it roughly?
Oh, I sent it shortly after our January meeting, and then I don't remember if I sent it again
it was attached to the email for this
for
meeting.
this
Yeah,
meeting
for this
too.
meeting
I did
too.
attach it, but you know,
I think that's where I read it, when I was looking at the agenda.
so normally what we do is, you know,
You'll enjoy it, Sherry, it's very nice.
Yeah.
yeah, so
He does a good
we-
job.
we
Great.
take a vote, you know, that's our, kind of one of our few
wanna do it now?
votes is whether we approve the
Make a
annual
motion?
report.
I'll make the
So
motion that
you can
we,
make the motion now.
I'll make the motion that we approve the, annual report.
And I'll second it.
Yeah, so any opposed or all
Anybody,
in favor?
anybody
Aye.
taking notes?
Aye.
No.
No,
And opposed? Okay, so, and I did added just a few photos from our
Yeah.
stock photos, I always put in a few
One
pictures.
thing I'd like to add for future reference, I have a virtual plethora of
Oh.
drone photos of everywhere.
Well, if you have a couple you really like, send them out, I'll just.
Oh, okay, so-
incorporate them,
Okay, sure.
yeah, even if, I might, if you have like a set that's real nice, I'll put them in an appendix and we'll just
Sure.
include that as further documentation of what the lake
Like a
looks
background photo, you mean, for text or something?
No, more for just, like, if you have 3 or 4, we can have 3
Oh,
or
I see
4
what you're saying.
images that go
Sure.
in an appendix as.
Certainly, yeah, and you can
know,
just choose them and crop
and
them,
then
whatever you wanna
whatever
do.
date they're at, cause 20 years from now, somebody runs it, and it may look different.
I have about 35 pretty good bird photos too. I
Oh.
mean, I bought a new 70 to 200 telephoto lens.
Oh,
With
yeah.
my first
Digital?
Impulse, what was the name of that check we all got? Anyway, and during COVID, when we
Yeah.
got those
Oh, yeah.
$1,500 checks, I used that to buy a lens.
Great.
Yeah,
So,
well, send them along, you know, happy to incorporate stuff, you know, we try to,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
try to put some
definitely.
scenics and try to put some
You know, I was a
birds.
little bummed my Christmas lights didn't make it this year, you know, I
Oh.
work hard on those.
I don't think I got a photo this year, just,
Yeah, no.
there wasn't the nice ice.
Yeah, to go, yeah.
Well, we were in Florida over Christmas.
Yeah, seeing tortoises, so yeah.
Yeah, we were having fun. So, okay, so I hear the annual report's approved. So I'll do the final dressing up of that with any photos and we'll send it to.
I will
the-
send you some tomorrow.
Yeah, great, thank you. And we'll send it to the board and, we usually are asked, you know, to kind of give an update report, which is usually just, we get thanked and it's cool.
Go back to your corner.
Yeah. So, so the new business I had, one was to welcome our newish member, Ray. So I think everybody
Thank
knows
you.
Ray already. Again, for context, Ray was on our board, you know, from when I started through
I
4
was
or
there.
5 years ago.
Yeah, before you started, and then
Yeah.
I just said, you know, we gotta change the water on the minis, so I left for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
So,
missed it, I have to say I missed it.
yeah, good, well, we missed you, Ray. I mean, you come occasionally.
Park Lake is me.
Yes, yes. It gets bigger when you jump into it. right?
Yeah, that's
Archimedes told us that.
Yep.
So really, you know, the last item we have, and then, I don't know, you're gonna have public comments, or just you're absorbing stuff? Absorbing, yeah. Yeah, so
Did you wanna talk about
no,
that?
I wanna talk about the township
The township,
leadership stuff.
yeah.
So I think a couple issues that I would observe, and I think, how we've run it is, you know, if we have concerns, I tend not to be passive aggressive, I try to communicate them up. One is, you know, that Ray was added as a member, and I didn't know about it. And Ray, you've been approved, right, and I knew from you.
Am I officially?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know, I
Well-
was told that, hey, I asked by Mary to replace her, and then I never saw it on the agenda, but I'm
So,
on here, so.
so that is one element, that there's not even a communication of board members being added. That irritates me. Add whatever word for
I'm a
irritate.
board member, I don't even know.
Yeah, you know, and again, you know, you know, we get the I don't know if you all I get a Friday report from Taylor, and I think it's, last I remember it listed still a vacancy, but it doesn't.
It does list one vacancy right now, but I
You're
was
filling that now.
approved in one of the board meetings, and you voted for me.
Yeah,
So,
that I
because
remember.
all I know is it was unanimous, and
Right,
you were
yeah,
there,
it was
so.
But again,
unanimous, I was
that
there.
doesn't get reported back to the
Right,
chair.
Yeah.
'cause I
no,
don't-
that's true.
Doesn't
You know,
get
that-
added,
That should be SOP, you getting,
I-
knowing when you're having new members.
Yeah, cause, you know, earlier, when Sherry was added, but originally it was gonna be somebody else, and it was, again, it was verbal. I like, you know, what I'm gonna,
Jack Phillips.
it was gonna be Jack, and then, I don't, you know, I mean, since I don't care who, just let me know who I should
Yeah.
email, you know.
If I could, I did bring that up to the supervisor,
Yeah.
and, he said, I wonder if that's my job. So he said, I will set that as an important item to make note of, so he's gonna try to fix that.
Yeah, so I still, what I'm gonna suggest is I'll draft a letter, circulate it for your review and revisions. Our vote today will be whether I'm approved to start that process. But I think, you know, I'd like to communicate, I want things in writing to me that are important items, one. Second, I'm more than irritated, the whole Park Lake Preserve was something we started, this board. We handled it, we were asked to kind of hand it off to Parks and Rec, and then we've been kept out of the loop, and that has been, I'll be blunt, it's unprofessional.
Little secret, there is no loop.
well, in the senior center, the senior services group, this is verbatim the same, I sit with them. And there's just zero communication.
I'm drafting a letter right now, that's what I spent literally all day today doing. I'm talking about 9 hours I've been doing research on it, and just for giggles, I went to the township website, and they're moderately copious about keeping minutes, I mean, they're supposed to do that by law, but, and agendas. And so I just typed in, with Boolean logic, you know,
Yeah.
I typed in Park Lake Trail, and I got 132 mentions of it, back to 2010.
Yeah,
And, it took Park Lake, you know, and then it took Trail and all of that, but they were all germane to my search. And I mean, it's on the planning commission, it's on the board the most, it's on the board. And, it's even on the rec board, and it's on Parks and Rec board. Everybody has talked about it, but it seems that, and I will take full responsibility for bringing this up to Ryan, that I wanted him to, or get off the pot.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sick and tired of this, I said, 12 years we've been trying this, and you haven't officially made the Park Lake Trail and Nature Preserve a thing. I said, it's an entity, I said, it's gonna be the most fantastic thing this township has ever seen. And, he said, well, that's what I'm gonna do, but he didn't kinda do it, I mean, they're having a special meeting to talk about the trail, and there are, no offense, Cheryl, do you prefer Sherry or Cheryl?
Sherry,
Okay, no offense, Sherry, but you've not been back there either, have you?
No, not yet.
I haven't had a chance to bring her back.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is,
I've
I've
actually driven much about back and
I
forth.
actually officially went to the board and told them at the board meeting, I said, I'd be happy to take any of you back there that you'd like. I can answer any questions, whether they're legal or anything. I have all the documentation. I mean, literally, ad
Yeah.
nauseum. And, that was 2 meetings ago. And Monday night, at the end of the meeting, the board meeting, Ryan said, I've been approached by Ben Zeeb, Director of Parks, and he suggested he'll take a group of us back to visit the trail. And my jaw just hit the ground. I said, what am I, chopped liver here or what?
Yeah.
It really, really made me feel bad. I mean,
Yeah,
because,
well-
who doesn't know that I'm the champion of this thing and I'm the biggest squeaky wheel you've ever seen? And I know anything and everything you wanna know about that. I'm not afraid to say that, I'm not ashamed to say that. But it would have allowed the board to meld and to
Yeah.
communicate with with Friends of Park Lake, an
Right.
entity, you know?
Well, that as well as, again, Park Lake Advisory Board, we're here to
You should have
advise,
done,
and if
yes.
they aren't calling on us,
They're not.
but making decisions that.
Same
again,
with senior citizens, the same, there's
So-
block.
Yeah, so what I'm suggesting is, a note, a memo, one, with kind of bullet points, chairpersons of township boards or committees should be notified in writing when you have new members
Yeah.
in a timely fashion. Again, secondly, regarding the Park Lake Preserve or Trail or whatever we're calling it, I've written, we have had, we've approved other memos in the past complaining about the lack of communication. I'm gonna be stronger this time. That's
the last time I was here,
unprofessional,
you wrote one.
unacceptable. Again,
Yeah.
we initiated, the other thing, again, Ray was there, I facilitated our board, we had an open meeting on this.
Yep.
We had an information meeting.
was very-
I don't know what year it was, I'll have to look
It
for
was,
the date.
it was 2019, and,
We had-
that video has strangely disappeared from the
Well,
township website.
I've got the minutes, I've got all
Yeah,
that.
I
I
mean-
will attach those.
It was on there, the video of that meeting was on there in its entirety, and now it's gone.
Gone.
So, I
Well-
don't know what happened to it.
2019 or?
Excuse me?
When we had the 2 town hall meetings where?
I don't know if you were here yet, we
No,
had,
that 2019 would be before me, but we've had 2 town hall meetings since I've been here.
on the trail,
On the trail, yeah.
Yeah, so then anyways,
When,
there's,
I can't remember, Marie Howe was the supervisor.
so there's been stuff, but again, we have not been,
Yeah.
when they were, had meetings about the property boundaries and that, again, we still haven't gotten anything in and again, I'm really insistent, it's gotta be in writing, folks.
Yep.
That just, again, cause
100%.
otherwise it's miscommunication. So I'm gonna, with your approval, you'll all get the memo, but I will use words like unprofessional, is that?
I approve it.
that's,
And then,
well, you're tactful enough at the
it's gotta be
professional writing.
stronger, and,
Yeah.
and I think, unprofessional and,
Knee jerk is what comes to my mind.
yeah. And
Well, we sit here and we talk about it and we suggest that, well, the township should do this or the township should do that. We send them a memo, what we think and this and that and the other. And as near as I can tell, we as a group keep doing the same exact thing, expecting different results.
Yep.
We're not seeing anything different.
So it has to
Exactly.
ramp up. I had
Yeah.
one of our board members, I won't say who, somebody said, well, you get more, flies with sugar or honey, and I'm like, sometimes you gotta get the swatter out.
Well, we're not after flies.
We're kind of beyond the
That's,
trying to.
that smacks of Joe Benzie.
I won't say who, cause again, but the point is, they're advising me to kind of chill, and I'm back past chill.
It's not
I'm
working.
my
It
patience.
doesn't work. It doesn't
Sir,
work. I
that's
can't-
exactly what they said to me.
It took me 1 year to get, and I still haven't succeeded to get the senior center open pre-COVID levels. It took me 8 months to get it open back to 5 days a week.
Yeah,
And it was like I was the only one that wanted to push for that. And this is just what I run into on the board all the time. It's like, I need the gavel.
so anyways, I will draft a note, cause again, this is, it's been going on quite a long time.
15 years or something.
you know, so anyways, but I think specific to the Park Lake Preserve, I'll attach the minutes of that open meeting we had, because again, this whole, we gotta gather information, we've been there, we've done that,
Yeah.
and,
And again, I have copies of literally everything digitized.
Yeah.
One thing I did wanna mention in regards to the name, I have explicitly made sure to state the name as the Park Lake Preserve and Trail. Because, if we just say trail, you know, theoretically, hell, they could sell the land and build houses back there. So I think
Yeah.
we should emphasize making it into a natural preserve and then put a trail through it.
yeah, I mean, and again, that would be something, I'm happy as a board, I think we've advised something to that nature as a preserve.
Yeah.
It is up to the board to decide
Oh, heavens, without
that,
question, yeah,
but
we just
our-
advise.
Again, we can only advise, and that's our.
And one
our
thing I
role.
wanted to bring up to this board also is, we gotta figure out where we can park. Because there's now an eagle's nest
Yeah,
in the
that's
parking lot.
changed the dynamics there.
And boy, he really looks at you when you're walking around the outer perimeter and
Oh, yeah,
you're at
no,
least 150 yards away from
Right
it.
in the parking lot.
Oh, it's,
Well, it's,
he's kind of pretty much right in the parking lot,
I watch him every day and he pays no mind to me.
yeah. Serious?
from his house, yeah.
It's right
Oh, yeah.
straight across the lake from me.
That's true, yeah. One suggestion I had, there's a huge tract of land that the township owns, goes all the way up to Lindbergh Drive. And right at the corner of Lindbergh and Webster, I think it's Lindbergh, anyway, there's like a 1.5 acre parcel right there. And it's separate from all the rest, and it was all donated by the Dreyer family, Susie Dreyer. Boy, that took some looking to find where that land came from, because the assessor, Beth Botke, she said she seemed to remember there was some stipulation that it could never be sold, or it could never be built on, or something like that, and so I wanted to see if there's anything on the warranty deed. So I have the warranty deed for that, and I have the warranty deed for all of the Poly Aqua Shores subdivision, all of it. And, there's supposed to be gold incidentally in the Poly Aqua Shores lots.
Supposed
He
to,
said a pot of gold. If you buy the right lot, you'll find the pot of gold. But anyway, and there are no stipulations whatsoever on any of it. One thing that has been brought up more than once to me was that staff, which is Karen, has been talking about low-income housing, building it back there. And, I just went through, I don't know if you heard, but I went through today, you know, looking for documentation. And the township was actively buying land for the purposes of the Park Lake Nature Preserve and Trail.
was a
I mean, that was verbatim what they said.
yeah,
And I have the costs on all of that too, what they paid. And a lot of it, I must say, a lot of it was donated.
yeah, no, there's,
And one thing I wanna tell you guys that really made me smile is the largest parcel, you've all seen it, the 20-acre parcel, was donated by Oak Island. The trailer facility, the company that owned them, Oak Island Associates. And there's a stipulation in there on the warranty deed that states the Park Lake Improvement League shall have free right to go back and maintain the canals.
Oh.
It just says canals, that's all it says, and water control,
yeah, yeah,
so.
So anyway, so I think, again, we need to communicate, we need to, and, you know, so I'll send a I'll draft a memo, send it for your approval. So what I'm gonna ask today is if, the motion is that I'm given authority to draft it and have it approved by the board via email.
He just made the motion.
Yeah.
Oh, you made a motion,
Second.
it's all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So I'll do that, within my time limits, I've got some time crunch too. I don't take 9 hours to write a damn letter though, Ray, I'm sorry to tell you.
No, that was the research, I was
Well,
just
the
doing
research takes
and
all the
taking
time.
notes, you know.
So we'll get that out, and then I may try to talk with Ryan privately a little bit about this. I mean, I want it, again, documented writing, but sometimes you have
Yeah.
to also
And
put a bug in people's
If-
ear.
Could I speak about one other thing?
Sure.
It's just a segue of this, but it's very germane. The kerfuffle about the property lines with Mr. Tierney.
Yeah,
Both warranty deeds, the county property that abuts Tierney's property and goes right across the Legacy Bridge. Both deeds state that the property line goes down the perfect center of, It just says C/L, which means center line of highway, it says. And that's where all the property, it goes,
Yeah,
you know, up. But when Karen had, or not Karen, it was actually a road commission that had the latest survey done. They utilized the survey verbiage on that 1958 document I told you about, the LIBOR that John
Yeah.
found originally.
Yeah.
They used that exact survey verbiage. And what that does is it shows, exemplifies, Don and I are probably the only ones that know this, that someone moved the road. And that's why when somebody uses the road to go, they're on Tierney's property. It's because, I can't say he moved it because, you know, but it used to go right where that survey took it. And now it goes way over on his land.
yeah.
So that's something I wanted to bring to you, but it also states that there's a 60-foot right-of-way
Yeah.
for that road to access the property.
Back property, yeah,
Yep.
so, no, we, you know, again, this has all been a, yeah, mess, so.
Yeah.
So, we'll, you know, keep, like I said, it is though, I've been, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, do it or not, you know, it's.
Just wanted you to know,
it's
my brain
Yoda.
hasn't left, you know, since I left this.
Oh, yeah, no.
Still working on it.
Yep, so, all right, well, I will try to get that out to the board fairly soonish, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Other than that, the next agenda, I didn't print it off, we had kind of an annual cycle, you know, so we have meetings, we're kind of alternating some months, the bigger chunks off in the summer, so. I think the next meeting's, April 17th, and I don't know if we have anything specific, but it, just getting kind of geared up for the summer, it's good to meet. And, we probably will talk about the Park Lake Trail Preserve, see what happens,
And geese.
and geese.
Yeah.
Yep, so.
Would,
So it-
would it be appropriate, excuse me, somebody said something about it.
Oh, you said, and geese, but.
Would it be appropriate for us as the advisory board to draft a letter in support of the Park Lake Trail and Nature Preserve project? And give it to the.
We can, we
to the
can do
board?
that in April, you know.
Okay,
I mean, that would
no,
be
I'm
the
just, I'm
time.
just saying, you know, we're
Oh.
just trying to lay our pathwork here.
Yeah.
I think that's important, as long as we.
We've done that.
Oh, I know, but gotta do it again. We're gonna get it notarized this time. That's right, we're gonna get that stamp on it.
Well, what I'll do is, I mean, again, some of this is like, we reiterate our strong support, you know, I mean, we told you all before, we told you. The other one, oh, actually, though, is the boat launch, again, that too, we haven't been involved in that. And like you said, if we're, you know, I think this group has good advisory insight about building a parking area that's better than the current parking area.
Yeah, I mean, when they.
None of us are parking engineers, but whoever they employed was,
What was he thinking?
yeah, so anyways, I'll include that, because again, that's another example where we are not being utilized as we should be, so. So with that, next meeting, I think we're about adjourned. Anything
Okay.
else?
Motion to adjourn.
8:50, so. Oops, that's 7:50.
Aye.
Aye. All right, well, thank you all, I didn't even need to open my computer to edit the document, and I'll chat with you all after, that works fine.
It is after, right?
Yeah, now one thing that's, again, now, can you stop the recording, not that we're gonna talk about anything.
Is it just the square and then the bed?
I think the square